Yeah, I wasn't gonna comment before I was done at least, but oh my God, what a pack! Why does this need to be have a pick one? Can't, can't I have them all? Like I even want this stupid Outsiders 87 tight end, which would be pointless after having both of the Gonzalez. Uh, so with Gonzalez just coming out today, I'm pretty sure I have to take this, and I don't see any reason why I would take the 90 over the 95. So I'm gonna take the 95. So I don't really know why I got on the mic, but like this popped up, and I was like, all right, there we go. That could end up being the best card that we get outside of the final one. Um, but was like, all right, we got some legends to come up, and if they were about this 90, maybe 91 max or lower, I I don't know. I probably would have taken this. Probably would have felt the need, but I got to go with the Legend Gonzalez. But just look at those four, man. That's crazy. And I can't take both Gonzalez, which would be great towards getting his 99. But oh well. Soldier on. Here we go. Yeah. So here's the thought. Maybe if I'm trying to do a pack opening to build up specific sets for players, we should pay attention to what the friggin' cards are. Um, I mostly wanted Nitschke, who's new, this week, along with Tony Gonzalez, if that was going to be possible. I paused this earlier. I'm not done yet, but basically done. I paused this earlier to show the when the two different Tony Gonzalez options came up, so I couldn't take both. Whereas I basically would have been able to if they would have been part of any of the other packs separately. Um, but before that, I wanted Vic. My pack opening from yesterday, which was admittedly part of the reason why I opted to do this again, is because I got the friggin' 98 Vic. Um, you literally can't do any better. 98 is the highest you can get in these things. They don't give the 99s out in packs. Um, and whether it's Ultimate Legends or just like regular Legends or whatever, if you're gonna try to do the set to get the Master, you got to put all 5 of that player's cards together. They're relatively expensive from my perspective, considering I've got 14,000 coins at the moment. Um, like even the Munoz is probably I'd maybe not 100k, but these two certainly are for sure, maybe even 200k. And I don't even remember if like what I don't even remember what is and is not tradable. Like in my opinion, these should all be tradable. But for some reason, I can't auction my 98 Vic. I didn't want to anyways, but like I just noticed that I couldn't because I was looking at quick sell values on stuff when trying to build up my training points. Um, Mostly for my power up players, but also for my captain and yada yada yada. Um, Pardon me. And they like the quick sell on the 98 Vic was like the lowest. It was like 5 points, which is stupid, and it was because it was not auctionable, and it came up in this specific pack, the round 2 of 2 in the final pack, and it came up in this third of fourth spots, and I stopped, put the mic on, started to talk. The only guy that follows me, I didn't put my ID into this one, so I guess that's why he's not here for this. Um, Came in and like talked crap to me or whatever, but it's a huge pull. It was a huge pull. And then I waited and I did the fourth card, and I don't even remember what the fourth card was. And the first two weren't that bad either, but it's just like versus a 98, fantastic. So this comes up, and my first thought is fantastic. And I think you saw me do this. Cause I'm pretty sure I was able to do it before opening up the other two. I went like this to compare, because I'm like, all right, I know I got 2 Nitschkes. I got them both yesterday, the first pack opening. Um, but was like, hold on though, 95. I think I have that. As you see, I do. They're different years though. They're different cards, and if I wasn't clear on that, you could tell by the green advantage going in either one of the two directions. Um, and I know in a previous one in this lineup, I had the option of getting this, and I'm pretty sure I saw that I had a. I know I saw that I had a 90 and opted to go with the Atwater instead. Um, Even though like that makes very little sense to me. I don't plan on playing the game long enough to truly end game this stuff where I would need 299 overall middle linebackers. So I was just going with the Nitschke. Already had two, but like when this came, I'm pretty sure I'm hoping I'm gonna watch the replay, but hopefully I'm hoping this was the exact card. This 90 mental was the one, and I know I'm the one that sounds like I'm friggin' mental doing this, but I'm pretty sure that's what the card was that came up. I didn't take a a long look at it, I should have been paying attention to whether things were green or not on either side, or if they're just gray across the board on both. That would have been a little bit of a tip off. But that was why I opted to go with the Atwater, even though I didn't want to, and was slightly considering taking whatever the other option was in that particular grouping. And if I go back and watch it and find out that there's another 90 overall as part of the set that I got as an option to choose and I didn't choose it, I'm gonna be. I was not trying to swear in this thing, but I'm gonna be fucking furious. I really am. So I guess I'm taking this other 95. Um, I'm not trying to say like they're making this look sneaky, but those look like very similar cards. Um, Granted, he played his entire career on one team, so it's not like somebody even like a like a Khalil Mack or whatever that's one of my power ups that I'm doing at the moment. To kind of as you get towards the top, he switches from Raiders to Bears. Um, but I don't know. I mean, how many different poses I guess could you get with a middle linebacker in the 60s? But geez, it just the cards alone. Just can I don't see if I can do this. Like just the no, it's not gonna because it's gonna put the stuff in the middle. But like just the cards alone. I guess I'm kind of glad that they were slightly different. Like he's kind of off to his left on the left side. He's kind of off to his right, but still looking to the left on the right side. But otherwise, they're both 95s. I don't even know which one I would start. I guess I'll let the thing decide which one is better. Um, it really, I guess, would come down to whether I wanted to be slightly quicker. I'll probably go with the one on the left. And it's not like I'm super annoyed. I have three of the five. If I had any actual coins, I'd be able to buy the other two, get the 99, and maybe check before doing that. But I doubt it if they would even allow you to, like they do in some of the sets where you trade in five and you get the thing you're trading in, but you also get to keep the other four as a natty. I seriously doubt that happens. I would imagine that all the other Ultimate Legends go away, and with this, that would seem fine. That would make sense, like because you're never gonna play the other ones. Um, even even his versatile one. I mean, I don't see them putting him in a different position. It's not like the um, it's not like the I talked about this in the last one too, but it's not like the versatile Ultimate Legends version of um, Calvin Johnson that I've got as I think he's my starting for now. For now he was, but now until I got the Tony Gonzalez cards. But he was either my starting or my backup tight end, despite being a wide receiver, and he plays awesome. The card plays awesome. I definitely recommend it, even though nobody's playing this game anymore because the new one's gonna be out in a month. Um, but yeah, I didn't pay a ton of attention to the Nitschke versatile card or whatever, because the versatile card is always the fourth of the fifth. So, and I think the 90 is like the middle. So this just seems like a weird. So I guess the first and second, which are the two cards here, which I'm now gonna have both of, are 95s. The middle one's a 90. It's mental. Then there's a versatile, who's probably like an 89 or an 88. And then there's one lower than that. There's probably not that much lower, like again, maybe like 87, 86, and that's the set. So actually, if that's the case, if I have the top three, I just gotta get some coins then, I guess. I might be able to get this done since this looks to be it. Um, I do have one more 94 plus guarantee, but yeah, like I think that means that I can't get any more niche key from that one because the ones I need are lower than that, and I don't really want one lower from that from a thing that's supposed to be 94 plus. Um, but yeah, no, I don't think we got any 98s. This LT is just so boss, and like my outside linebackers are so so terrible. Like I just picked up this. I think this is the draft one that I picked up when I had a couple of Ultimate Legend options. I was just like, what? I can't do it. It's like whatever. They were too low. Um, yeah, I mean, the high tower's a power up, so he can go higher. And I just they've been seeing a bunch of team builders. At least with like the legends, I guess you could put those up. Whether with team builders, free agents, all the rest of that stuff, they're all things you can put in sets, but you can't get them up any higher. The 95 Lawrence Taylor in any other situation would be perfect, and I assumed that's what I was going with because I was like, all right, I've already got the 95 Nitschke. I do. Just it's a different one. So, all right, I'm gonna get off the mic. I'm gonna go ahead and take this card, I guess. See what we got in the final pull. Okay, so that's gonna do it. Um, got some linebackers to fill out the squad. That LT 95 felt like justice to me. Not being able to take it in the previous one. I mean, I could have, but just based on what I was going after, felt like I couldn't. Um, and then I don't know. I didn't look like it. Again, it looked like there was another case where there were two 95s for the same player, which is fine, whatever. But and again, like also makes me think that Nishi's got to have something that's higher than a 95. So I don't know. Maybe the one that I had, then that was lower, whatever the hell it is, like 90. Maybe it's like the fourth one, which is I thought it's supposed to be where the versatile one goes, and it's a mental, but whatever. Um, Either way, we picked up another niche key and had an opportunity for two again, and I'll find out if I fuck that up. But um, and again, I don't know if you can even sell these things. So that was part of my whole thought process there. I was like, all right, do I just take the most coveted ones, whether I need them for my sets or not, since I'm not end gaming and I'm not going to get Ultimate Legends in every single position, and especially since I think the one I ended up taking again was an Atwater that was an 89 as opposed to the 90 niche key, both in the same position at middle linebacker. We filled out the outside linebacker spots with this Kevin Green at 97, which is fucking boss ass shit. When I go to actions, then I'll be able to wow, 26,000 training. I don't know why I didn't notice that you could do that before. I think that's just because it says pack or whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, so that was a power up. I guess I wasted that, because I'm pretty sure Hightower's power up maxes. Um, maybe at 98 if you like super stretch it, but probably like at 97. So unless his 97 has better stats than Kevin Green, and I mean just look at those stats. So good fucking luck with that. Um, Considering his 89 is 80 and 85 for speed and acceleration, he's probably gonna be quicker. But the rest of it, yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of it's close. 92 versus 95 on two of them. 79 to 95 is a huge difference, huge drop off. 87 to 93 is not that much to pick up. Um, Yet if you need the last one's 71 to 96. I mean, it's 96, 93, 95, 95, 95, 94, and then 80, 88 and 86. So he's not very quick, which I kind of do want from a linebacker, but that's okay. I'm not complaining about a 97 overall, since I've been playing for 2 days, maybe three now at this point. They interestingly have the exact same height between the two of them. Um, but yeah, I don't know. And the thing that kind of sucks about the power ups, on the one hand, it's good that you can refund your upgrades. Um, and I have not refunded an upgrade that was an item, specifically like a card. Like for Hightower, I don't know if I'm either at the point now or I think I've already done it at least once, where I had to go out and get like say like his core elite or maybe a special version card of his or whatever to like upgrade him. So I don't know if you can refund that and get the card. That would be very interesting if you could do that. Um, because if you didn't need it, you didn't need to power up the player anymore. Uh, uh, it would stand to reason that you should be able to get some coins in the auction house from that card that you. In my case, I went out and bought to do the upgrade. I know I did at least for Cleo Mac and for I think I was trying to do it. I don't know if I did one and was trying to get the second one, but I was trying to do it for Haha Clinton Dix as well. And the card that I need for him is not on the market for 2 days now. I don't know what the deal is there. But either way, like for Hightower, I would imagine that he had a card that was needed to get him to 89. Otherwise, that'd be very surprising. If not, because typically you need the first one around 80 or low 80s. So I probably went out and got it. Might not have had to have paid too much for it, so it might not be a huge deal in terms of coins in the market. Say it's like it's less than 5k coins or whatever. But like so, I went out and got it, put it in as part of the upgrade. It would be very interesting to me if you could refund the upgrade and get the card back, and then have it be auctionable so you could sell it. That would be pretty boss. I would give a lot of props to the developers if they allowed you to do that sort of thing. Um, but as far as generally refunding upgrades, since most of them, especially early on, are simply from training points, it's nice You can revert and get something back for sure. So that part I'm not going to complain about. I'm not really complaining about the second part intentionally or fully, let's say. But it does kind of suck that you don't get all your points back. Um, and in some cases, I think for me, it looked like I was not even going to get back half of what I put in. Like on the lower ends, like let's say you put in 10, you might get 5 back. But if you put in like 100, you might get 30 back, I think. Or maybe you always get half back. I don't it just didn't seem like that was the case when I was looking into it. And I don't think I have refunded any. Um so yeah, so like it's good you get something, but it kind of sucks that it's I think it's at best half of what you put in. So you kind of got to be choosy on that sort of thing. And I looked at my linebacker core, and as you can see from there, I mean, I was looking at like a an 84, and I just got this. I know that for sure because of the coins. I'm gonna be able to. Ooh, it's only 20. That sucks, but okay. But I'm gonna be able to get 20,000 coins just from selling that as a quick sell card. Um, I don't, and then the rest of these I don't know when I got these. But needless to say, the especially the left outside linebacker core was very weak. As you saw, the right outside wasn't the greatest either. Um, so since I had Hightower, and for him specifically, I didn't see a bunch of different varieties and like better variety cards that were out there. Um, like as opposed to specifically Deion Sanders and who was the other one that I had or saw? Probably even like Barry Sanders, but like maybe something like Chad Johnson or something like that. Like there was another one for sure that I had as a as had have as a power up. Um, but it was like if I'm gonna do the Ultimate Legends thing, why why would I do the power up? Um, you know, and like if you had both and you could use one of the Ultimate Legend cards to like boost, then okay, that'd be a thing. But it's not. So at least from what I've seen so far on the ones that I have built up. Um, so yeah, you kind of have to decide which program, as they call it, you want to go with for a particular player. Um, and some player, I think you saw in here that I typically made choices of going with Ultimate Legends, even if they were slightly lower overall than I did with going with a standard legend who might have been a +1 or even a +2 compared to it. Even if they were like same position, typically they weren't the same player. And that again would have just been from the sense that like generally Ultimate Legends are better than Legends. Um, and also if it's a player like uh, does Keyshawn Johnson have both of those? I'm trying to think, but like actually, I don't even remember if Jerry Rice has an Ultimate Legend, but Jerry Rice is my captain, so I don't want any of those, anyways. Um, just kind of same sort of part of the same point, but I know for sure that I've seen some players, probably the ones that I mentioned already. I can't think of other ones off the top of my head that have both legend cards and ultimate legend cards. And again, I didn't follow anything at all before getting this free copy and ripping through this game. I saw a lot of negativity back when the game was released, and that steered me away from ever playing it until now. But yeah, if you'd been playing like all along, and like let's say that the best that there was out there, not overall obviously, but like in general as far as programs go, was like the legends that you could do as part of a legend upgrade process and boost them up to I don't know, some cases like maybe 96 or 97 would have been the max. And then, you know, X number of weeks later, I don't know how many weeks later, now you've got the Ultimate Legends, because it doesn't seem like those were always available in the game. Um, I forget what week it said this week was. It might have only been week 10, which seems nuts because that's 2.5 months. It's basically from the beginning of the year, less than the beginning of the year. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I really don't. But again, I mean, like if they're auctionable, if you could sell them, then fine, whatever, sell them. But like this, even the high tower, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I can't sell him at the 89. I feel like I have to refund all of his upgrades and sell him at whatever he started at, whether it's a higher one, like at least like 77, or whether it's like plenty of the standard ones that start at like 68. I can't foresee me going from a 68 to an 89 on a player such as this. But either way, left outside was weak, and so it made a lot of sense to do that. Pretty cool to know that like, you can get 26k training from this if you really needed training and had a bunch of stuff. Um, some of the other ones that I passed on um, probably would have been like good to know that. Where's the okay? So I guess we're done. I thought I had one more thing to do here, but not from the packs, but like from the whatever. Anyways, so now it's not on the screen anymore. Sorry about that. I thought it was gonna like stay on the screen and show like the things that I got in the last pack, but um, from the odds, I don't. They're probably not gonna let me be able to show this because I don't have any remaining. Oh, okay, they will. Nope, they won't. All right. Well, it's the same. It's kind of the same as this, um, except that like um, this this one here, because these are only 87 plus, the other one being 94. You could see this if you were in the game and still had the other ones available for you this week or however long it's available or whatever. Um, but the 94 plus, it's 100% probability, obviously, on 94 plus. The only other category there, the 97 plus, was just shy of 50%. Might have been about 49, 48 at the worst. So it's basically half. Um, just for that final plus one. And it actually it looks like it contains three and two toppers with 87 plus UL. Now see, I can't show this. What? Um, yeah, but like the thing that kind of sucks with this is the icons represent total contents of the packs. So it's basically saying on this one that in the 3 packs you'll get 5 elite cards, which simply just means basically 80 plus. So does that track with the is it the am I looking at the wrong one? What? That makes no goddamn sense. There's no way. There's no way that, there's no, first off, there's no way that that's accurate. And second off, I really wish that I could show this one here, and I can't. That sucks. Because this one, there were 6 of those packs, and the odds were not like that at all. And then the 94 plus, as I said, it was 100% for 94, obviously, and then it was about half for 97. But the thing was on the, so let me not get thrown off too much on the lower end. All right, so So basically, they're saying that's so crazy. But either way, pretty cool. I guess yes. I mean these probabilities should be the same, I guess. But I mean it's the minimum probability of getting one or more players of the overall range or described category in this pack. So I guess in each pack they're saying you're gonna get an 87 plus. Um, I felt like that did not hold true in the ones that I opened up just now. But the 98 plus was the cool thing. And I don't remember if it said, I think it said 90. I think it said 90. I was thinking it was the same sort of deal. I think it said 98 plus instead of 95. And I feel like it had to have because it said 4.5%. And I did not look at that yesterday before doing the opening. I did look at it today and I thought that's that's fucking insane. I understand I opened up 6 of them yesterday. I opened up 12 today. And I, if I recall correctly, we did not get any 98s this time around. I mean, the Kevin Green was a 97, was it? Whatever. Um, but I got the 98 Vic, and he's crazy boss. Like I'm gonna have to try to see if I can find a 99 on the auction market just to be able to see the stats on it, because I don't know how else you'd do it. Um, but yeah, I was well aware that it it's 4.5% to be able to get that 98 through the contents of that pack, and that is where I got it. I did not get it from the from the what do they call it, a topper? Yeah, two toppers on this one. So I did not get it from this. Uh, I did not get it from this topper. And here they're saying in the topper, this one, the 87 plus, it's 3.9 to get 97 or higher, which is exactly what I got with the Kevin Green at the end. But again, on the other one, it's a 94 plus, so it's more like about 50% as opposed to 4. Um, but either way, it was not in this one, which again was 94 plus, not an 87. It's not where I got the 98 Vic. I got it from this one that's showing you right there. That's 4.5%. And even again, opening up 6 packs, it doesn't matter. Like I'm not gonna go off on this too long because I've done that way too many times, particularly in EA's hockey game and in other places where they do odds. I've done it in mobile games for 2 years before that as well. Um, I get that people don't really understand probabilities and statistics and how they work and how they interrelate to stuff and stuff like that. Um, but the fact that I do, the whole fact that this is saying in each one of these packs, like they're saying you get 3 of these packs, each one you're getting an 87 plus guaranteed. Like that's what it's saying, and that's nuts. Um, but whatever, if that's the case, that's the case. Um, Hold on, I want to read this the bottom part here. The contents of packs are dynamically generated and probabilities are verified using a computational simulation. See for more details. Um, so yeah, very quickly, if you when you go to open up the pack, it's got a 4.5% of something happening. Just to make it easier and say it's 5%. Many people get misguided enough to think, if you want to start off on a simpler example, for me, the 94 plus topper, that again was not exactly 50%, it was slightly lower. It might have been 49 and change, might have been 49, might have been 48 and change, might have been 48. We'll just say it was 50, right? So like you get a 100% chance of 94 plus, but to get I I'm pretty sure it said 97 plus. Yeah, it did. It said 97 plus. It didn't say 98. So 97 plus on that one. It's basically about 50% odds. And people almost always um, read that wrong, which is that when you open up the pack, you basically got a 50-50 shot at getting a 97 plus, which could be a 97 or 98. The way this particular game works, because the highest it goes is 99. There are no hundreds, nothing above 100. So I mean, the way that numbers can work in real life, they go to infinity. Here, they stop at 99, and you can't pull 99s in packs. So when it says 97 plus, it should say 97 to 98, but that would be less exciting and less enticing for all the kids that play the game and like to gamble under the age of 13, because that's so healthy for the country and the world. But anyways, if it says 50%, and I'm not talking about the kids making poor probability decisions at this point, I'm talking about adults or supposed adults. They would look at that and think, okay, cool, then all I got to do is buy 2 of the packs, and I'll be guaranteed to get that, because it's 50% in one and it's 50% in the other. It's a 50-50 shot on both of them. It's a guarantee. It's a lock to get it. Now, I can understand if they were going like super like long-term end game with it, and there were no limitations as to how many packs you could get, then like, yeah, if it is truly dynamically generated and randomized, cool. Might lose the broadcast, that's fun. Then yeah, like if it was true, and they're suggesting here that it is, then over a long enough time frame, and I gotta be honest, with these sort of things, I feel like even 100 packs would not be a long enough time frame for me to be able to say that the 50% would hold true, meaning that out of 100 of them, half of them, or 50, you got the 97 plus, which again would be 97s and 98s. I wouldn't really see that as very likely. I understand statistically speaking, there would be it would seem as though that would be more likely, right? And so if people are thinking about that in terms of long term, and then backing that out into the short term, and feeling like, well, over a long enough time horizon, it would be on average at a 50% clip. Every other pack that I open, I would get one. So all I gotta do is open up 2, and I will get one. That kind of makes a little bit more sense, and that's the intelligent version of being fucking stupid. Because again, that's not how these things actually work. They are 100% completely sorry, not they're. I'm saying this wrong. They're 100%. Is that a double negative? Not interdependent. They're 100% mutually exclusive. There's better ways to say this. I've said it better in the past. But the point is, if something is 50% here, and then you have another chance to do the exact same thing with another 50% chance, all that means is that both times you get a 50% chance of getting whatever the thing is. And when I've explained this to people, when I've either been even going back to days when I was a student in classes on these things, and then teaching them, etc. My thing would always be like, just do coin tosses, do actual literal coin tosses, even though it's generally understood that it's the best thing that you can do with things that most everyone in the United States has access to, that is 50-50 shot. Part of the reason why that actual game of this game, actual football, and the gameplay of this, for some reason, not at the beginning of the games, but if you go to overtime in this game, so far it's been my experience, you get to a coin flip, you get to a coin toss, because it's generally understood to be fair because it's 50-50. Now without getting too technical, and I said I wasn't going to go off on a huge thing on this, and apparently I am, but I'm going to roll it back a little bit here. Um, the the weights of heads compared to the head side compared to the weights of the tail side in every standard quarter currently being minted by the Treasury is not precisely identical, and that's just me super geeking out on you there. Um, and you can, if you did a search for that right now, and you got past the sponsored ad bullshit, and probably had to go past the first few um, people that technically aren't sponsored ads, but used a variety of methods to bump themselves up into the highest levels of the results from the search, you'll still find people who will say the opposite. That will say that the head side of a quarter and the tail side of the quarter are the exact same weights, and that's why it's 50-50. Um, Again, if if that were true, then yes, that would make a ton of sense as to, like, no matter the physics or whatever of a coin toss, that if both have equal weights, then whatever the fuck, like with the force of gravity and the pull down to wherever it's landing, like say just the ground or whatever, um, if they both have equal weights, then yeah, it would make sense that they should basically be flipping on either side half the same amount of time. I would agree with that if that were true. It's not true. It's close to true. The fact that it's close enough is one of the reasons why it is very close to being 50-50. And when you do true, like, hardcore statistical analysis on things over long enough periods of time, etc., etc., you have to account for a thing that not everyone, for some reason, is aware of. And even when they're presenting with statistics, like in terms of like polls or whatever, the people doing the people presenting either the information or just the data point out that there's a margin of error, and so even hypothetically speaking, on a coin toss experiment, if the margin of error was extremely low, it would still probably be enough to cover kind of the truism, the true difference between one side versus the other. And I'm not going to give you the answer as to which one weighs more and therefore which other one should come up more often. Um, Simply because even if the margin of error thing and all that other stuff wasn't true, it would be really stupid, um, like in every single case, in every single scenario for the rest of your life, to always choose the one that had that super tiny edge to it. Um, you and to put any sort of stock in the sense that you're gonna like do really well in coin tosses because you are always going with the one that does in fact have a slightly better, like super ridiculously margin thin, better, um, quote unquote probability than the other one. So now we got all that nonsense out of the way. The fact that the margin of error is higher than the difference between the two, as far as true probabilities, means that it is a wash. It is agreed upon, even by pure full nerds like myself that notice that it's not necessarily inherently true 50-50. When you account for the margin of error, it is absolutely a true 50-50, and it's why it's widely accepted. But again, if you're in a situation where you're only gonna get one coin toss it seems like for some reason people are willing to understand and that it is 50-50, and you just got to pick one and get lucky. Hope that it comes your way if it's important enough. I personally wouldn't want to have too many important things being determined by a coin toss. Um, but again, then you just bring that out one more, and now you're going to do two coin tosses back to back, all things being equal. Um, and yeah, it's a weird thing because the idea of um, you know, having something that you want from one of these packs that's supposed to be about 50%. I mean, you see on the screen here, we don't have any of those. The 91 plus is 66, and the 95 plus is 31. You know, I guess they might have been able to do a 93 plus in between those two that maybe would have been 50, but it probably would have been a little bit lower. And it would have fucked up the whole chance of getting half, anyways. But I don't know why. Like in those cases, like if you're looking for something specific and you don't get it in the first one, you only have one more pull. I don't know why. I understand in general, but I don't understand why every single person, it seems like, just automatically assumes that the thing that didn't happen in the previous one is going to happen in the next one. And it is akin to if you're limited to only getting two coin tosses and it's something important to you that's on the line. Say you are not financially wealthy, okay, and you come up against somebody who is, and they want to flip you for your car, no matter how great you think it is or that it is by whatever standards. It's important to you to have the car. You'd like to continue to have it. I don't know. Like, let's make it crazy and even say that you're basically flipping them so that if you win, you get their car. If they win, you get they get yours. And they've got like a bunch of ones, so they don't care. But they're specific as to like which one of theirs you get, and you really want it, but you also want to keep yours. Either one of those. If it was simply just, hey, we're gonna flip for this, you get to keep your car, you don't. Or if it's like we're gonna flip and one of us wins the other person's car. Like in either one of those examples, and it's just two coin flips, which should be even on both ends. I get the human nature tendency to like to want to put something into it, to feel like you are able to um, like have control over something that you clearly have no control over, unless it's like a unless you're Two-Face from Batman, and they're both heads, then yeah, go with heads both times and win the person's car. Be a dick and cheat. But if you're not cheating and there is a heads on one side and then tails on the other, and it's not weighted in any specific sort of way outside of the norms of every other quarter, or $half or full dollar, whatever the fuck it is that you're flipping. What I would say is that it seems strange. Like you flip once, and you didn't win, right? So like it's a requirement to flip twice anyways, but like you didn't win. But technically, you could say the same thing even if like you did win on the first one. To make your second decision based off of the outcome of the first one is something that people do. How long has this been going? Like an hour. So if it's been going for an hour, just extrapolating out for like the United States, there have probably been at least six figures, at least 100,000 instances of people in this country that have done coin flips in the last hour for, in some cases, significant things on the line, and doing it much like this, which is fucking asinine. Which is like, say, I don't know, say you flip once, you call tails, it comes heads, and you mistakenly think first one was heads, so second one has to be tails. I called tails in the first one, I lost. I lose the next one, I lose my car, or whatever the deal is. Um, and so you think, because that was heads, tails has to come next time. So I'm going to go with tails. You go with tails again, it's still 50-50. Like, you didn't actually increase your odds. It's not how it works. It's not like because the first one was heads, that the second one is going to be tails. Again, over and ad infinitum, which is kind of a description of how long I've been talking about this fucking topic, that would hold true usually, on average. Still wouldn't necessarily have to be exactly 50-50, but it could be close enough to it where it would make some sense. But it would never be conditional. Even if you'd flipped 1,000 times or 999, and you looked at the numbers, and 500 times it was heads and 499 times it was tails, it would still be ridiculously fucking stupid for you to go, all right, I'll bet my entire life that the next one is tails, because it has to be, because this is the 1,000th flip, and it has to be equal out to 50-50 because we've extrapolated it out to this higher number. You want to make this completely ridiculous, say it's not even 1,000, say it's 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000, 1,000,000,000,000. You've done that many fucking coin flips, but you're on to like the millionth or the billionth or the trillionth time. Before you do it, you're at, one less than 50-50 on the one side. Like you've gotten exactly one more head than you have tails. So you think, all right, I got it. I'm going tails on this one. It's always going to be tails. It's 100% lock. There could be some sort of sense that like the tails would seem as though it would be better than 50%, like 3%, which is still not even true, but it would seem that way. And if you're just going with that as your logic, that's better logic. But to say it's 100% because you've done enough of them and the data proves out, no, it's not how it fucking works. Like, go ahead and pick tails and then lose your life when it comes heads again. And turns out that in that particular case, no matter how many it was, 100 times, 1,000 times, million times, billion times, trillion times, that it was exactly one more head than tails before the last flip, and went heads in the last one again. So it ended up being exactly two more than the other one. So what? Out of 1,000,000, it was 500,001 times that it came up heads, and 499,999 times that it came up tails. Still within the margin of error, and still basically 50-50 when you look at it from a probability standpoint. So it all stays in line. And I use that as an extreme example just because I feel like people do that all the time. And like on this case here, okay, so there's only really the one good one that's above 50. So 91 plus within the fantasy pack, which apparently you'd get 3 of them if you did this one here. And also they're never really clear in terms of like conditional within a pack, which I feel like they should be, because if you just read the language, it says minimum probability of getting one or more players of the overall range or described category in this pack. So in one pack. So you're saying it's 100% of 87 plus. But the fact that it's 66% for 91 plus, and let's take away all the other ones at that point, just those two alone would suggest it's 100% for 87 plus. And just because of how the game works, generally speaking, that means you're going to get a bunch of 87s, like literally exactly 87s. But what they're really saying is that it's 100% for anything that's 87 plus, and because it's only 66% for 91 plus, you could do that math, and you can. It's not exactly it's not exactly 34%, but it's um, it's because it's derivative, even within the confines of one pack. Even if you take their explanation here, that is not the greatest in terms of when you get that card that is going to be 87 plus. Again, that I said, knowing how these work, it's generally you're going to get an 87 exactly. But 87, 88, 89, and 90, those four specific overalls, um, there's a certain range that you'd end up to be able to get those. And you'd like to think that it would be like, you know, I don't know, about 34% of the time, which interestingly enough, now that we are going to look down to the ones below that, it's basically the same probability within reason for you getting a 95 plus. So it seems great, right? The thing that I said sucks as far as them not indicating the conditional nature within the confines of a pack is that, like, if you get an 87 plus and say it's not above 91, so it's those four that I listed, 87, 88, 89, 90, does that mean that the conditionals on literally everything 87 plus from then on and the rest of the cards in that pack are now zero? Is it that, like, these are the probabilities of getting basically one card, because it says getting one or more players of that range. So that's definitely one way to read it. It's one way that I think that I would probably read it, which is that these are the probabilities of getting one card, and you can get lucky as opposed to probable and get more than one and get higher ratings. But I would feel like if you pulled an 87, you're done. That's it. There's no 91s, there's no 95s, there's no 98s. And you move on to the next pack. And another kind of way to look at it real quick is that, again, if you're only going to get the one, because again you can get more than one, but if you're going to get more, if you're going to get that one, and there's a minimum that you're going to get at least a one, because it's 100% for 87 plus. You're going to get one, which I didn't know when I did the other six, and I'm going to check this video when I'm done to see if I actually did that. But when you do, it's still basically 2/3 of a shot at it being 91 plus, which actually means that it's a good card. It might actually make your team, unless you've been playing since the beginning, at which point you should be end game, and the only thing you should be giving a shit about at this point is like 98s, 99s. But if you're brand new, like I am, 91 can be okay for now. And 2/3 of a shot at that, not that bad. Slightly less than 1/3 on 95 plus, not the greatest. And the 4.5 was really what I wanted to talk about, but I went onto a super long tangent on that just so that I could properly set up exactly how difficult it is to get that percentage. It looks small at 4.5%, but it's actually much, much worse than that, because it's not conditional from one pack to the next. They are not interrelated, interconnected in any way. They are wholly mutually exclusive. They really are. You don't have to believe me. You can look these things up. You can ask EA. They're not going to tell you. It's not a knock on EA. They're not required to tell you. But you can ask a statistics person to find somebody who teaches it. If you don't go to school or whatever, you can find someone on social media or whatever that teaches stats and ask them this, and they'll tell you. They don't all know, but you have a higher likelihood, a higher probability of finding one that does actually know this shit than you do of pulling the 98 plus. Let's put it that way. So to make it easier, let's make it so it's not 4.5%. Let's make it 5%. It's basically the same thing, but that's fine. So 4.5 up to 5%. You would think that would mean that you got to pull 20 of these things to be able to get the 98. And again, ad infinitum, if you went out forever, had no limit as to how many you could pull, and you just did nothing but straight pull forever, yes, you should find that every 1 in 20 packs on average holds one of those 98 cards. It's the way it should work. And if this, again, I was hypercritical of EA in another game. I'm not doing that here because people didn't seem to understand that that wasn't specifically just about them. It had a lot to do with them specifically, but it wasn't specifically just about them. But games in general, and especially when they're outside of the United States and not being required to have the same sort of following the same rules and regulations. But if this was like a published lottery, which tends to only be municipalities slash the government that runs those, or any type of sweepstakes or things like that, which is open to the general public to run those under specific regulations. They have to publish all this stuff, and they have to approve, typically to a third party, that it meets the criteria for the odds that were listed. And if there's any reports that things are amiss, and it's not hard for that to happen, especially again when you have normal people who just, when it comes to these things, are fucking stupid and think the thing says 50% and they bought 2, they didn't get one. They might have bought 4 or 5 and didn't get one, and they're like, this thing fucking lied. I bought 6 of them. I should have 3. I got none. I'm gonna call the FTC. It's like, no, to do that, fine, great, but that's not how things work. So yeah, if these things were true, and if they did hold up over a long enough period of time and stuff like that, it is slightly in the back of my head as to why there are limits as to how many of these packs you can open. Because like, if we go to look at these other ones here, all of these 3 here, they all have. Now where's this one? Yeah, so like these ones all have remaining ones. Those have remaining. Those don't. This one doesn't. That one does. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. None does that. None does that. All the rest of the ones over here do not. So what's the highest one as far as points go? It's this one. It's a 40 times gold premium bundle. So you're getting a bunch of silvers and some golds and 3 elites in the 3 times elite pack. And in the gold premium, you could technically get elites. Again, 4.0% on 91 plus. And then the elite player plaque obviously is 84 plus for 100%. Only because it's Series 6, whatever the fuck they call it. But either way, like this one, you could literally buy forever. So if you, I mean, they're $100 packs in the U.S. So and you can't buy points through Sony at least for more than 100 per. So even though it's progressive in nature and you get more points per dollar, the more dollars you buy, it's capped at 100 per on the purchase. So and it's, I think yeah, it's 12,050, but whatever. The 50 just rounds off. If you bought a billion of them, the 50 would add up, I guess. But point being, these are basically $100 packs here. They're not worth $100 at all. I mean that's how many fucking cards is that? 250 something, 200, close to 200, 250, 260, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere in there. It doesn't matter. Especially because 83 of them, it says there, are silver. I mean, icons represent total contents of packs, right? But then like here they're saying you can get 80 plus, which is technically an elite, 82% of the time in the gold premium pack. Um, I don't know. That seems strange to me, but okay, whatever. I don't feel like those are $100 packs. But you could literally, if you had $1 million, um, pardon me, that's still only 10,000 of those packs. Um, at that point, like the odds should really start to play a factor. Let's see if there's any fun odds to do in here. Um, there's not, unfortunately. 3.4%. So I mean, it's every 100, it's 3.4. You can't really, um, sorry, every 100 being 3.4. So every 1,000 is 34 of them that you should get that are 95 plus, which again could be anything from 95, 6, 7, or 8. Um, so yeah, that's every 1,000. You'd get 34 of those, and you're spending $1 million. So you're getting 10,000 of these packs. So that's times 10. You should be getting 340 cards that are 95 plus. Should be. You're not going to. You're not going to get it exactly. Um, that is highly improbable. It could happen. It's unlikely. You should, at best, you should get close. And 341 or 339 would be pretty goddamn close. Again, within the margin of error. But yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, let's go back to, where were we? This, right? So, point was this 98 plus on the Ultimate Legends fantasy pack is interestingly the um, where I got the 98 Vic, and I'd have to look. No, I don't have to look. The other one, the the topper, again for 97 plus was just shy of 50%. So like you felt like you should have been getting it there way more often, but I got it here where it was 4.5%, and I'd only opened up 6 packs. So I literally could do that math for you to show you how improbable, how unlikely that is to be able to have that happen. But it's crazy low odds. Um, I mean, it's obviously 4.5% per pack, um, and so empirically speaking, you can just say it's just 4.5%. Um, because it doesn't matter that 6 packs were open, because what happened in the other 5 packs has no bearing on what happened in the first one. Supposedly, still a game. There's still things that may or may not be going on behind the scenes. Um, but yeah, the fact that got pulled again, only because there were only 6 pulled is like crazy low odds. Just because to have it fall within the confines of likelihood, or almost 100% full probability, just means that you have to get, you know, millions of these things. Because again, if you just wanted to get one, you would think you'd only need to get 20 of the packs. It's not how it works. And you can get 100 of them, still not even get one, even though you would think if it's 4.5% that you'd somehow get 4.5. You can't get half of a card, so that'd be fucked up. So you get 4 or you get 5, and you feel like it still falls under the guidelines, and you're good. You could buy 100 of them, not get any, because again, that's how it works. Um, but you could technically, it's never ever going to happen, but you could technically get 100 of them and get one in every single pack. You could get 198 plus cards. it's not happening. Don't try to get it to happen, but it technically could happen. And the odds of that, again, even though they're not technically conditional, would realistically be within the confines of what would be considered a test, would be even more improbable than pulling it just from a 3 times pack or a 6 times pack. But yeah, anyways, point was I got the 98 Vic, and that was badass. It was a low percentage. I think that's what I wanted to say. I think I'm done. Good to go. We're done now. All right. Peace out, yo. How long did this go? I'm gonna see how long it's went first. I'm hoping less than 90 minutes, but it felt longer. Don't be 2 hours. Oh, cool. 100 minutes. Peace out, yo.